good evening, good afternoon, good day, depending on where you're at. Hope all is well. Hope everyone's feeling as good as they can. Welcome to South Carolina. Specifically, we're outside on the edges of Columbia, South Carolina, right outside Fort Jackson, one of the main U.S. Army training installations, the one at which I went through for my initial entry training. So today, I'm going to explore for the Carolinas a little bit and go into Georgia. I would like to say apologies for no stream on Sunday. I needed a day off. I needed a little bit of a break and had a lot of fun flying in JoinFS with the Fireflies and the crew. It was a lot of fun. So today we're starting off here in Columbia, South Carolina. We're going to fly up to Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to check out the racetrack up there, fly over the city a little bit. From there, we're going to go back into South Carolina, making a stop at Spartanburg. And from there, we're going to check out Camp Toccoa, made famous by the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, and which was in itself made famous by the HBO miniseries Band of Brothers. So we've got some people to say hello to in the chat. Allison Johnson resubbed with a tier 1 for 3 months in a row. Many thanks, Allison. You're a real legend. I do greatly appreciate it. Tortuga's in the chat. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. Wayland's here. Good evening. Good evening, Kingsman. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Ben McClure's here. Good evening to you. Draco's here. Hello to you. Randy Hurst is here. Good to see you. Dougal McTavish is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Murphy and Pilot Peely have wandered into. Good evening to you. Hope you're all well. Noel's in the chat. Good to see you. And Papa Joe B is here. Hello to you as well. So we're doing a little experimenting. I'm kind of taking up the R&D wing of the two-tone flying circus and the Fireflies. So I'm kind of the R&D division. I'm at the point where I've got a lot of people that fly with me, but I can try stuff without breaking too much. So we're not only flying on the East USA server tonight, we are also connected to the Two-Tone Murphy JoinFS server. So we have some friends that may be on the Northern Europe server, for instance, but I can still see them unless you're also part of or connected to the JoinFS server. So it'll be a fun little experiment. And hopefully things function. If they don't, well, we can tweak them. So let's have a quick look. All right, so tonight, that's not the right button. That's the right button. We're flying the good old 172. And the current time and weather, we're running scattered clouds. It's reading about 5 minutes after 8 in the morning. In the sim. So we're going to have a look around, and already we got some friends that we can see, but we don't have name tags. And that's indicative of folks on the JoinFS server as Catback9 rolls into the chat. Good to see you. So we've got a TBM with no name tag. There's Papa Joe. We got a couple of Wacos with Tortuga in one and I believe that's Murphy in the other one. The Waco's been getting some real love, and I'll be showing it some love here soon. I've got some big plans. Captain John and co-pilot Pickles are in. Good to see you. I stepped in between while oh dear. Well, good to see you anyway. Cap 9, we're here. Good to see you. It is Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. The best kind of Tuesday. But then again, every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday if you want. At least if you are in a place that has good tacos. Because apparently it's a hard thing to come by in Europe, which is unfortunate. So you have my deepest of sympathies. So we're going to go ahead and get the show on the road. Gonna make sure our pitch trim is set for takeoff. Make sure our rudder pedals are free and clear. Yoke. Yep, she moves, so mixture full, throttle cracked, master switch, battery and alternator master switches on, beacon comes on, magnetos go to both, we yell clear prop, and start the engine. Then we let that sit for a moment, make sure that the engine is idling between 900 and 1000 RPM, so we're good. Going to turn on our taxi lights and nav lights just for visibility's sake, as we also turn on our avionics. Make sure our transponder is we are on the East USA server and should be on the East US server. I'm on the East US. However, if you're on JoinFS, you could be on any other server and I would still see you, which is part of our experiment. Maybe switch servers and switch back, Allison. That's possible. There goes Waylon. So we're going to turn a little bit of instrument lighting on just so we can see our little doodad up there, which is our clock and temperature readout. So we're going to go ahead and get rolling. Make our way down to the active. Red Dragon CYM's in the chat. Good evening. Already in the air, but a bit northeast, but I'll easily get back to you. Awesome. I can see you down a little further, Allie. I can see Red Dragon in the air. The parking brake was set. That'll do it. Goblin 2 is here. That's awesome. Glad you could make it. So we're going to start rolling down to the active. We're going to be using runway 31 for the best crosswind coefficient, although the winds are light. Taxiing a wee bit fast. So we paid for the whole runway, so we're going to use the runway, a whole runway. As we say, cap at 9. Patiently awaiting departure. Ooh, too fast and distracted. Distraction's bad. I'll lean the mixture a little bit with it running. You can see trains thanks to photogrammetry. So we've crossed the hold short line, so we'll turn off the taxi light, switch on the landing light, and also activate the strobe lights. We make our turn onto runway 31. So taxi, line up and wait. Taxi into position and hold. That's the phrase I was looking for. So far we can already see there's Dougal with a name tag. There's Papa Joe with a name tag. There's somebody without a name tag. It might be Murph. BL3 with no name tag. Alley Cats with a name tag. And everybody's making their way down to the active. So it seems for right now that it's like in the Currahee stuff. There's an issue with JoinFS that I've been kind of exploring that has problems reading the Currahee plans. The developer's aware and actually is looking into it, so that's kind of awesome. Computer slowed again. I can get you. Roger that. We'll look for you in the sky. So we're going to start our takeoff roll and mind the crosswind. So the aileron goes into the wind as we fight the rudder pedals. A little bumpy. There's 50 knots, airspeed's alive, 55, 1 notch of flaps. There's a bump in the runway. And we're airborne. There's 300 feet. Flaps going in. So we'll get out of the airplane and begin our left-hand orbit, making sure everybody gets up and away, making kind of elongating a little bit so we can see the stadium over here, which looks cool. How about that? That's a football stadium if I ever saw one. Nice. We'll straighten out for our downwind. As you can see, Fort Jackson off in the distance beyond the trees. And a few months of my life there. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna reduce that by 1,000. Activate heading. So set our heading bug to east. And we're going to set that to 500 feet per minute. We're going to check out Fort Jackson a little bit whilst we're in the area. So nice that it happens to be within photogrammetry. And it brings back a few memories. It's a hot summer. And we've been flying around Casement Aerodrome quite a bit. And Murphy had mentioned, made mention of married quarters. We're going to adjust heading to 060. Oh, new notification. Allison Johnson subbed for 3 months in advance at Tier 2. Many thanks, Allison, that's a huge upgrade. Much appreciated. I just noticed that. I thought it was just a repeat notification. I apologize. Many thanks. Okay, so we're going to change it to 040. We're going to go over the main... I don't know why it's not letting me... We're going... it's very common. Military installations in the United States have... I mean, they're basically their own self-contained city. Housing, barracks. Then again, the armed forces of the United States are significantly larger in numbers than the Irish Defense Forces, and that's just different countries have different needs. And that's okay. But just the vast difference, so I don't know why the click and drag scrolly view is not working. Okay, we'll do. So we'll check out what we can of Fort Jackson. See if I can recognize anything. It has been quite a number of years since I was here, so it's fun to see the developments. And I think these are where the basic training units are. I can never remember which building I was in, but there's one over here. There's a couple over here, handful over here. Track. We weren't far from that, so that might have been my building. I don't remember. So these are the gun ranges where we would learn how to qualify with our rifles. Oh, we flew over the parade ground for graduation, and there's 4 baseball diamonds, so tons of fun there. So we're going to get off of that. Lever's not going to do anything. We're going to get off rental power. Initial airport code is... I didn't update it. Oh my gosh, I am such a jingle jangle. Kilo Charlie Uniform Bravo. My apologies, I mucked that up. We're gonna turn 03 or 320 degrees. My goodness, I apologize, everyone. I was in a hurry. If don't go by the stream title, the YouTube description and the Discord post should have the accurate information for airport codes and such. We're going to reduce down to 2100 RPM. And you can see that the border between the rest of the city of Columbia and the land that is Fort Jackson. Hello. That's Dougal. That is my fault, Pilot Peely. I always seem to miss one thing or another, I apologize. So we're going to go ahead and activate nav mode and switch to GPS. So that was a brief overlook of Fort Jackson here by Columbia, South Carolina, where I spent a fair short bit of my life. I see you, Wayland, so I'm not sure. I know, Darren, I'm sorry. Southwest 2115 is here. Hello. We're in South Carolina. I've got my speed down to try to accommodate for the Wacos in the group. There's Catbat and Druid. We're making our way from Columbia, South Carolina to Charlotte, North Carolina. And from there we'll go to Spartanburg, South Carolina, and into Georgia. Again, I'm really sorry I goofed it up. Yeah, we got a few people that are running on the JoinFS server, which is a handy alternative to the Microsoft servers for multiplayer. Folks in Europe can be on European servers or offline at all, and also be playing multiplayer with people on different Microsoft servers, like I'm on the East US. But it's a handy little thing, and we spent a lot of time over the weekend, pardon me, actually developing our own in-house, pardon me, goodness, developing our own ATC service. So air traffic control over Shannon Airport in Ireland, so Echo India, November. So that's been a hoot and a holler. Just being able to have a nice ATC environment where those of us that are a little apprehensive or have some anxiety about talking on the radio to other real people we can go there, practice, and not have any pressure to feel like we're doing the wrong thing, or we said it's a free, safe place to mess up and learn and get used to it, and it's awesome as we turn on course. Oh dear. I'm not sure I've ever had curry, if I'm honest. I probably would know it if I had. Curry's not a overly common thing in my area of residence. There are places in the United States that have it more common, but in my particular area, it's not as common a thing. It's even hard to find a ramen place. Got one. Sounds like a plan, Allison. But what I do, again, I want to say give an apology for no stream on Sunday. It was just I needed a day off from streaming, and it turned out for the best because learning all the wonderful things with JoinFS and practicing with ATC, it was really a fantastic experience. So if anybody's interested in that, feel free to check out this Tuto Murphy's Discord. Shoot him a message about JoinFS, and we'll get you set up. Whether you want to fly on the server, or if you have any interest in being ATC, or what have you, or even sitting and listening sometimes, it's a really good experience. So I wanted to use today because we've been talking about using JoinFS on the stream from time to time, and it can be difficult for 50 to 60 planes, and figure out who's on JoinFS and who's not. Whereas with my stream, it's a lot easier to experiment with stuff like that. So it's awesome. Bad Dog's here. You're not late. You showed up exactly when you needed to. You're always welcome to fly along too. Oh, 100%, Allison, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing it, is to provide that relaxed environment so that people can experience it, because it adds a whole level of, or a whole new dimension to flight simming. You're talking to people, you're talking to real people about where you are in the virtual world, and it's awesome. And with JoinFS, it's also fantastic because if somebody doesn't have Flight Sim 2020, but they have X-Plane or FSX or Prepared, they can still join in the multiplayer, and that's awesome. Tuto Murphy is in VR having a blast. I bet you are in that Waco. That's got to be so much fun that it should be illegal. Glad you liked the route, Murph. I kind of threw it together last minute, as I am apt to do. It's somewhere I've wanted to fly around for a while. Ooh, pardon me. It's just never got to it, and decided, we'll do it. We'll have the crack. Allison, the new word is getting used again with their F. Absolutely. Moment. Ever just need to cough? I got some of the Aviation 101 notepads specifically designed for using ATC. Granted, it's designed for the real world, but the same principle still applies to write notes, so you can write down your squawk code and frequencies and instructions and so on. And so I've got that. I haven't used them yet, but I do have that on ready to go with my kneeboard for use. Luckily, so far with just getting our toes wet, I haven't needed them per se, but it's definitely, and they're like $5 for like 50 sheets from Aviation 101, so it's fantastic. Oh, 100% Kingsman. And being able to do it in a relaxed environment, it's huge, because you could get onto VATSIM and they've got all these tests and this and that, and gotta make sure you know what you're doing and this and that, and it's great and all, but it also creates a lot of anxiety for a lot of people. So it's like, well, they put so much effort in the rules and this and that, and I don't want to mess up, I don't want to get kicked off, and so on. So it creates some anxiety whereas with us in JoinFS, we've essentially done our best to eliminate the anxiety, because there's zero pressure. We're all learning, and that's what's great. We have people that know a lot, and they share the information, and it's a friendly, constructive environment for learning, and that's what a lot of people need, is that zero pressure learning environment. Oh, absolutely, Allison. That's another very good use of a little whiteboard on the kneeboard. No, Well, yes and no. It runs the data through JoinFS, but it uses a program called Euroscope, and it basically gives you a realistic ATC screen, um, and gives position data, squawk codes, that sort of thing. And so I don't know how it works. I haven't gotten into how the ATC works myself. Folks like Murphy and Seamus McNeil and Epic Fool have been the primary controllers right now. Um, I'm going to kind of let them get accustomed to everything and so on, and before I start maybe dipping my toes into it. Uh, but it's basically the ATC is it's people within our group doing the ATC. So it's not people you don't know. It's us. It's our community. So it's fantastic because between Saturday and Sunday it was a rotation of Murphy, Epic Fool, and Seamus, and so it was a nice rotation. And eventually we're going to be able to have ground control, tower control, approach departure, and maybe even center if we can get enough people into it. You don't need it. The headset's going to be more helpful for controlling sound, so you're not picking up as much echo and that sort of thing, but it's definitely not required. A mic would be, however, unless we can find a text alternative, a microphone might be required. That's not silly at all. I like the headset just simply just because I can have the ears on my head and the mic close to my mouth. That's it for me, and it doesn't pick up echo. Yeah, having a mic. Until we figure out a text solution, you probably would want a mic. So as we follow the river up, there's Tortuga off Wayland. Oh, and because of my oversight with the title of the stream, it's definitely I do have the Sim Toolkit Pro information running at the bottom of the screen. That will be accurate. Those of you confused as to why we're not in the area. Because I was a silly McSilly pants and had an oversight. I don't blame you. And I remember the drive back home from basic training because I got picked up by my mom, and we drove from South Carolina back to Michigan. It was a long trip. Drove through the Carolinas, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and the Carolinas are a pretty place. Do we talk to ACC? No, the Discord isn't really used for the voice chat. We've got a Waco. We got a Wacko and a Waco diving towards the river. pull up. Yeah, so SimCom, I mean, you can use the JoinFS, but JoinFS Discord for voice chat, but primarily it's geared towards using SimCom X. And shout out to Naughty Gnome for hosting the server with the JoinFS server and the SimCom X server, and seemingly eventually our ATC stuff. So a lot going on and a lot to look forward to. It's really cool developments that are going on. You know, we're starting to get to the point where we have a lot of people knowing how to get people set up and up and running with it. So it should be, easy enough to get people on board when they get on Two-Tone Murphy's Discord, and check it out. We'll get you set up when you're ready, Dougal. There's definitely zero rush on the whole affair. But it's fantastic to have the option of a more stable multiplayer platform, if you will. And beyond that, just having it able to be cross-platform compatible is in and of itself huge, because for those that have a system that can run X-Plane or FSX or even Prepared, but maybe can't run this version of Flight Sim, they can still fly with people, and that's fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. You can do replays, shared cockpit. And they're still constantly developing it. Like I mentioned, at the start, I was having an issue with Currahee planes not always being recognized, and the developers looking into it, and he already saw an issue and is working on it. And that's fantastic. Of course, you can't just go into their forums and be like, "Oh, this is a bug. Something's broken. You hit, bring them a bug and you bring it to them and be like, I have this problem. Is it a thing? And and they'll work with you, and that's fantastic. They take feedback, and that's just awesome. Oh, for sure, Draco. I need to do a thing right now. Give me one moment while one moment, my friends. That is a link to Murphy's Two-Tones. Gosh, Discord, and so join there, and that should have all the information. And just hit the little shamrock to read the rules, and hit the shamrock to accept the rules, and then hit up Murphy to be ordered in order to see the JoinFS section, and then we can get you up and rolling. Is Murphy gonna try to take a Waco under a bridge? Wouldn't that be something? Look at all the trees. The only thing didn't like about South Carolina was just the heat and the humidity. It was not fun. My body does not like heat and humidity. It's not a fun time for me. I'm kind of a cold weather person. You know, I can always the way I look at it is you can always add more layers to get warm. You can only take so many off before it becomes public indecency. And well, yeah, that's something I need in my life. It's trees for days. We'll check into the cockpit, check things out, see where we're at. It's Fort Benning, June, July, and August. Yeah, that's about the same time frame I was at Fort Jackson, and it was a warm summer too. Heat index consistently well over 105 Fahrenheit. Ugh. See, I actually shipped out on D-Day, ironically enough. And I was there till the end of August. And it was a hot summer. Aha, I see flashing lights down there by the river. But yeah, so the Simcom X and JoinFS and the ATC stuff is just, it's fantastic, and it seems to be working in conjunction with the Microsoft servers. Because one of the problems, that JoinFS allows us to solve is you get the people that want to come in and disrupt and just be annoying. Well, with JoinFS, A, you can kick them off. B, you can hide them. C, you can just turn them into something that's not as much a nuisance. So someone, when you say no airliners and so someone shows up in an airliner, you can just go, nope, you're not in an airliner anymore. You can substitute models. It's fantastic. It gives you a bit more server control, and at least until I'm gonna kick up the at least until Asobo and Microsoft try and figure something out in order to be able to hide disruptive players. The group flying is fantastic and is a huge feature of this iteration of flight sim, but nobody likes disruptive people, and having the be able to hide them is very nice. Fort Benning, Georgia. Pilot Peely, my 172 would not come off AP, so I landed on the field. And sorry to hear that, Peely. Well, glad you were able to fly for a little bit. Hope you take care and have a good rest of the night. But I'm sorry that happened. Hate it when it happened. Take care. Oh, there's a little airport. See, that airport. So we're technically in the Class B airspace of Charlotte. And we just flew over Lancaster County McWhirter Field. I bet. I found that, especially for streaming, it's been more successful at running a preset. And it looks like we have a Mooney with him. Who's in the Mooney? Is that John E? We can test, or we can look. Aircraft. Carrying on a Mooney Ovation. That's Fly Darren. Aha! Nice. One place down here I would like to check out are the Carolina Bays. We did check out Kitty Hawk on a stream. That's probably somewhere I wanna do a better flight plan for. Yeah, it's definitely somewhere to check out. I'll keep that in mind for sure. So I can see for a lot of people connected to the server currently. And there's at least 3 people that are over in Europe, or at least 3,000 plus miles away. But this JoinFS stuff is just fantastic. River 1, Murph 0. Oh dear. Yeah, those rivers, they're not forgiving. They're forgiving to boats, not so much to airplanes. It always does. That's the last bridge you'll ever try to fly under. Until we find a different bridge. Fun fact, you cannot fly under the Mackinac Bridge currently, as far as I'm aware. I've tried. I think I also tried landing on it, and it also didn't work. One thing to note about the Carolinas, it's real sandy. You can't go far without sand. And there's a fair amount of grass, but the soil it's fairly sandy. You get a would you look at the state of that? I'm telling you, look at the state of that. The lighting is just amazing. And one of the biggest improvements that I've noticed just comparing FSX to this, because FSX is really the only quote unquote modern flight sim that I've had outside of this. So I can't speak to X-Plane and whatnot, but its trees and lighting are just, I mean, if you had taken the same fidelity model and texture, but had as many trees, grass, and better lighting, those older sims would look so much better. But this has so many trees. Yet the greenery is just, it's amazing what a little detail like that can do for immersion and believability. I see no except below and behind you, northeast. Or not, nice. See, below and behind. I do recall seeing a VL3 when we took off. Ha! There you are. Found you. Let's see, I was watching Ariel, I guess, in Michigan, spent some time over the bridge. Mackinac. So it's Mac, M-A-C-K-I-N, and I believe the bridge ends with a W. You can say Mackinac and end it with a C and still pronounce the same way. So it's Mackinac or Mackinac. Even though the other one looks like Mackinac. Now, at the southern base of the Mackinac Bridge is an old fort whose name is Fort Michilimackinac. Have fun with that one. So we're starting to get into Charlotte, the Charlotte area. You can see the International Airport off in the distance. Our destination's a little northwest or northeast of the International Airport, so we're getting close. How's it sound about JoinFS in that? It's fine. Yeah, 100%, because you're on a more stable server, and I'm on a more stable server, but we can still see each other because of JoinFS, which in and of itself is inherently more stable as a multiplayer platform thing. Another Michigan word for non-Michiganders, grash it. Yep. And believe me, that took me a while because that one's it's a good one for Detroiters. Because everybody knows grash it. It took me a few times of seeing it and hearing it to understand that it's pronounced grash it. And because I'm not a Detroiter. I'm on the other side of the state. See, your tail looks nice. Tell you one thing, one of the best things that come out of Detroit, Coney dogs. That and Buddy's Pizza. Ooh, talk about good deep dish pizza. I haven't had Buddy's Pizza in a while. It's been a few weeks. Oh, nice. That's just a bit north of me. I've driven by it so many times that going north. Well, there's Firekeepers. Oh wait, no, Firekeepers is east of. I'm thinking of Gunlight. Bulllight. Gunlight? No. Yeah, Gunlight. So many doggone different casinos. Let's see, corn dogs. Yeah, corn dogs. I don't know if corn dogs originated in Detroit or not. But corn dogs are good. I don't remember the last time I had corn dog. There's different kinds of deep dish pizzas. There is Chicago deep dish and there's Detroit deep dish. They're a little different from each other. Then you have New York style, which isn't deep dish. It's just big. But there's a little bit of difference. Detroit deep dish pizza is not as well known as Chicago deep dish, which is just another reason that Detroit's underrepresented in popular culture. Coney dogs, yes. This is running when it's not. I can't say that I have. I'm running an old version though, which seems to have far fewer issues than a lot of people have been having. I know that there's been a few people that have had that problem. I have not, but like I said, I'm running an older version. I'm running 2.2.1.8, I believe. And it's funny how every stream, whether it's mine or Murphy's, ends up talking about food. Then you got Fago and Verner's. 6 knots is in. Good to see you. Been a while. Just enjoying and watching. That's quite all right. Glad to have you along, regardless. Oh, what runway are we looking at? Let's see what we want to do. Probably better off at Runway 20. It rains in. I've been having problems. It's updated Windows. Today crashes every few minutes and doesn't open unless I do it through Taskman. Interesting. Bombasso's in. Good to see you, my friend. Happy to have you along. How you been doing? Hope you're well. As we got a moon. There's Dougal. What's Uga? Flying in the Carolinas. Yeah, runway 20 is going to give us the better crosswind coefficient. It's not a strong crosswind, but nonetheless. Good to hear. No worries, Darren. 32 plus knot crosswinds. I don't think I've had them. I'm running scattered clouds, not real weather. Awesome. So it's good to see that JoinFS and the Microsoft servers are working well together. I mean, when we were testing over the weekend, I remained on the East US server, I think, but I was also I was still on all players, and JoinFS was still working fantastically. The only problem is if someone's running on JoinFS but also running on the same servers, you might end up seeing double planes, because that happened to me on VATSIM once. Because VATSIM will interject aircraft into the sim, cross-platform so that people see it. But so long as you're on either group only or on a different server than people, then it should work out just fine. Not that anybody asked, just kind of a note. I'm glad you enjoy them, Catbat. I enjoy them with good people and having the fun, exploring the world, talking about awesome new developments. Yeah, and I think this JoinFS thing is going to be huge. It's going to be big. It's going to be great. And because it's already been a lot of fun. And with introducing ATC into it, it's adding that extra layer of I'm beating a dead horse by this point. But it's adding that nice immersion but in a casual atmosphere. And that's huge. And I think the Two-Tone Murphy Flying Circus Flight School will end up being exclusively on JoinFS, just for the sake of it's going to be a better method of flight sim training because of shared cockpits and so on. I think that's one place it'll shine quite brightly is having the flight school. Oh, for sure, Draco. I I never really flew outside of Michigan in FSX. Between Michigan and Oshkosh, I was pretty boring. And with schmutz on the monitor, but I have spent so much time flying in Ireland and the UK and Europe and South America, the Middle East. I've even had a few flights out of Bagram. But all of that, I've explored more of the world in flight sim this year than I ever have before, and it's been great. And I've met a lot of fantastic people from all over the world, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. I'm going to Jane, just finishing a flight in Congo. Where are you landing now? Our landing is at Kilo Juliet, Quebec, Foxtrot, or Concord-Padgett Regional. So we're 10 miles out. We have the airfield in sight. We're going to go around the far side and come back in. Now, the Charlotte Motor Speedway should be fairly close proximity to the south anywhere but Michigan as well, but now use the casement and the fantastic casement aerodrome scenery by Jeppesen 2001 is just stunning. Absolutely beautiful work. Being able to explore that in Ireland, such a beautiful place to fly over. The other night I did a flight in an Irish Air Corps King Air. King Air. I never fly the King Air, but I flew the King Air. Flew it from Casement, flew over Donegal, and flew down to Shannon and landed. And that was it was a ton of fun. Have you guys heard of Infinite Flight? It rings a bell to some degree, but I don't know much about it. Kebmo is in. Good afternoon. I'm on the ground at awesome. We'll keep a lookout for you. But where's the Speedway? Where's the Speedway? So we're going to go back into the cockpit. We're going to turn off the autopilot because, doggone it, I want to find Charlotte Motor Speedway. There's already see a LM. That's not on our flight plan. So I think I see the Speedway. It's definitely not a part of the photogrammetry. But that is the Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm flying the Legion A320 in the Carolinas. Nice. So we still have the airfield in sight. It's on a mild deviation to check out the Speedway. Red Dragon says he sees Kebmo on the ground via little nav map. So mixture goes to rich. We're gonna reduce power a little bit. The sim. here's the speedway, the main speedway anyway. Mile-and-a-half track with an infield road course and an infield-ish quarter-mile track. Here's a short track outside of the main track. There's the dirt track at Charlotte. And I believe they got a drag strip, a 4-wide drag strip here too. That might be it. Airfield still in sight. So we're going to reduce power to 1600 RPM by slowly moving out the throttle. We're going to use our trim to compensate so that we reduce speed as well. Is the Cessna required today? If so, I need to jump out real quick. Cap 10 is fine. I usually just put the Cessna I put in the plane that I'm planning on flying. It's by no means a requirement that everybody else be in that. It's just a reference point so that others fly something comparable, as it were. Yeah. I think it's right by the dirt track. I could very well be wrong. It's okay if I'm wrong. I'm wrong a lot. So as many know, Charlotte, North Carolina is the home of NASCAR, basically. Not where it started, but where most of the teams reside. There's somebody on final approach there. Jason McNeil is in, our resident JoinFS guru. Soon to be our expert sim ATC man. Hope you're well, my friend. We're about to make our first landing. We just checked out Charlotte Motor Speedway here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are, in fact, running on the JoinFS server as well as the live Microsoft servers. There's Wayland. So we're on our left base for runway 20. Getting ready to turn for final. Add that last notch of flaps in. Get our turn to final. Mind the bumps. We're a little high on the glide slope. So we'll reduce power a little bit. We're going to crab a little bit into the wind. Pardon me. On glide slope. Power back. On approach, there's piano keys. We're over the threshold. Start our rollout. Flare. A little bit of a bounce, but that's okay. So we're under 40 knots, indicating less than 40 knots. We're going to pull the flaps up, start using some mechanical braking. Gonna pull off to the ramp here and quickly go look at some landing. Park it here. Get into drone cam. As Allie is down, MJ Daiso's in, Catbat 9 and Draco are inbound, and man, this camera is low. Papa Joe B is on approach. Catbat. As Papa Joe B is in. There's another friend on the JoinFS server. There's Druid in the Waco. .9 per minute. That's not too bad. Not great, but not terrible. KJQF. Yeah. Excellent. That's all ready to go. Is that everybody? Seems like there's more. Oh yeah, we got lots more. Telling me I will reposition the camera again. Little nav map, show 3 join F, Roger. Here's a group now. There's Phil Breen, a dual Phil Breen. Wayland's in. So I think that was a demonstration of the double plane syndrome. Being on the same server and on JoinFS at the same time. It's showing 2 planes. Wow. I just got an achievement for Night Owl. Accumulate 50 hours of nighttime flight. How about that? There's still plenty of time, Seamus. There's still a couple legs to go. As Red Dragon is in, and another JoinFS friend. Dougall's in. Well done. There's a JoinFS friend in a TBM. That's a bit of a rough landing. Put it on the center line. There's Bad Dog and Kingsman. Nicely done. You have a good night, Dougal. Glad to have you along. Yes, it will be direct to Spartanburg as Rad Pilot Randy comes in. I think there's a racetrack in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Earlier was. Who knows? There's a lot of little racetracks around here. Waylon's out for the night. Work tomorrow. Enjoy the flight. Well, glad to have you along. You have a good rest and have a good day tomorrow, and we'll catch you next time and on Discord. Okay. No, there's... Whoa, that's not... Poppy. There's Tortuga. Nicely done in the Waco, and the pattern is clear. See you soon. Question to self as well. To be to Waco or not to Waco? That is the question. So, you see, that's, where is Phil? Here's Phil. So it looks fine right now, but I swear there's a double plane issue with Phil on his link. It could be completely wrong. It looks like the new Canard version of the citation. So, we're going to start getting ourselves together and get down to the active while people are rebooting and so on. Got it. It's not the right button either. Hey, there we go. So, if that's correct, we're gonna... Why is it not doing that? That's we're gonna reset our takeoff trim. Let's see, Kipmo, I'm not seeing other planes. Am I supposed to see everyone no matter how connected? No. If you're on JoinFS but on a different Microsoft server, you're only going to see people on that Microsoft server and or in JoinFS. If you're in JoinFS and in East US server, you're probably going to see everybody, but also see double for people that are on both. Yeah, if you're just on JoinFS, you should be fine, but you're only going to see people on JoinFS or on whatever other Microsoft server. If you're not connected to any other Microsoft server, you will only see people on JoinFS. So you may not see everybody that's in the flight. But that's fine. I mean, however you want to connect. I have JoinFS running, so I should see everybody. If not, there's some sort of disconnect somewhere. No problem, Kemo. On airplane as a Waco goes by. The big thing with JoinFS is it gives you the option of staying on a local MS server or none at all, while also being able to have that multiplayer element. And that's actually a bit more stable than the Microsoft servers currently. Ian Lafford is in, stumbled across the stream. Good to see it. Exit off. Don't need them. Hope you're well, my friend. We're just getting ready to take back off here in Charlotte, North Carolina, on our way to Spartanburg. We may do a little line cutting. ILS hold short. There's the regular hold short. Poppy Meerkat. Ah. Now I can. So we're going to go ahead and lift off as everybody makes their way to the runway. Mind the crosswind from the right. There's 40 knots. 45, 50, airspeed's alive. 55, 1 notch of flaps coming down. And we're in the air. Rudder control goes to neutral. Only 118 days until the Eurovision. Sweet. We're up 300 feet. Flaps are going up. A little off runway heading, but that's okay. So we'll start our right turn. Ooh. A little bumpy. Dean Lafford with the knowledge. So we'll keep in our left orbit as folks get airborne. Keen is the unofficial king of the Eurovision. So this area of the Carolinas gets, at least from the air, fairly flat. There are definitely parts in Fort Jackson that are not flat. I can personally attest that there are parts of South Carolina that are not flat. Let's see. But once we get closer on our way, once we get to close to Spartanburg and especially towards Camp Toccoa, we'll definitely see some lumpy terrain. As we got Rudolph the Red-Nosed Airplane scud running down by the trees. Most everybody seems to be airborne now. We're going to head along our way. We're going to actually have to lower altitude, so do adjust our power settings. We're going to hit nav mode. And we're going to make way for Spartanburg. God, I can't believe I messed up the stream title. And at least easily edit on Twitch. We're heading to SPA. Long Mountain. There we go. Haha! I at least fixed it on Twitch, folks. I fixed the stream title on Twitch. 6 knots. When you're on the Two-Tone Murphy Discord server, you hit them up with a PM to get access to the JoinFS channel. Once you have that, check the pinned messages by looking for the little push pin at the top right of the corner of the screen, and that should give you all the info you need. I know I'm a little ahead of most of y'all. That's okay. It kind of gives me the chance to get down and get set up for the landings. Seems Murphy has posted a promo for the upcoming. He's going to be on Sky Blue Radio, which I think is a European thing, talking about stuff about flight sim. Cannot wait for that. There's a Bradford Airport. 2 miles behind, and flying and prepared 3D and see found. Awesome. Good to hear, Seamus. It's nice to see because I can see a Firefly here, 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 with no name tags. Oh, and here. So I've got at least 5 Fireflies. 5 Fireflies with no name tags, and a few with them. So we've got a nice mix here, folks. This is fantastic. So definitely proving that we can use. Hey, 1, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we can use 6. 1, 5 or 6. 1, 2, 4, 5. There may be more. It's actually a lot harder to find the Fireflies that don't have name tags. So it's kind of a nice challenge. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the ones I can see. That was Schmutz. And then this is awesome, but it's definitely proven they can coexist. JoinFS and the Microsoft servers. So there's always going to be an option for flying. One of the big things about the JoinFS is going to be just there sometimes people can't handle the massive following or the massive airplanes that are flying along in a group flight on the MS servers. So JoinFS gives them an alternative. Still fly with the group, but fly in a less heavy environment, as it were, if that makes any sense. Populated. 8 on JoinFS as seen on. Gotcha. Yeah, it's hard for me to see them, so that's awesome. I'm really glad that I decided to try out this. This may become a regular thing, having the JoinFS up, because this is awesome that it's working. You know, people on a North Europe or no server, or either on the North Europe server or no server at all, and they're flying along in a group flight. That's awesome. Yeah, it's less crowded. Glad you're enjoying it, Druid. It's a pleasure to host these flights, and it's really fun experimenting and trying new things, and it's just amazing that it's working. It's working. It's alive. I'll start being less weird now. Sorry. Sweet, excellent ideas. I can't see your game tag, Cole. Are you on? Are you just on? No, you're there. I see you. I don't know. That's odd. Plus, we can do the main scenes together. Yeah, the cross play, and that's been an issue of mine, just even on a larger scale. It's cross play or cross words, cross platform play has been a big thorn that I've wanted to whittle down, or that I've believed needing whittled down by the game industry, because there's people with the same game on different platforms that want to play that game with each other but can't, and they should be able to. We've reached a day and age in technology where it should be easily possible, and clearly it is. You know, being able to fly with people on X-Plane, because there's some lovely study-level aircraft in X-Plane and Prepared and FSX that MSFS doesn't really have right now. And then having that ability to have people flying across different platforms with each other is it's huge, because you can have those study level, really well done system aircraft in X-Plane or Prepared or FSX, and fly with people with the fancy graphics of flight sim. If there's one thing that I'd like to see developed for this kind of instance, would be some sort of AI pack that would basically, you could load in, have available, and so if somebody's in like a Lockheed Constellation, for instance, flying around in Prepared, but there is no Lockheed to use to substitute it in flight sim, it would be nice to have the ability to have a library of aircraft where you can interject something that looks like a Constellation. There is an alternative, a placeholder helicopter for JoinFS that has been posted in the Two-Tone Murphy Discord channel, which is going to help with helicopters so you don't see a hovering Cessna. But I think this is really just the beginning of seeing what JoinFS can do. It has so many possibilities. Oh, there's the International Airport in Charlotte. Now, going back to my trip home from basic training, driving, we had to go through the Appalachian Mountains. Well, my mom and I we don't do well with heights, which is ironic being in an airplane. I can go to 5,000-6,000 feet. I'm fine, but I know I'm in an airplane. You put me on a real tall ladder, and I get a little bit nervous. Well, we're flying through the mountains, and my mom and I are both a little on edge just because of it. And me being me, my mom's towards the inside, the mountain side. I'm towards the drop side. I'm looking out the window. I'm going, "Hey, Mom. How did I say it? How did I say it?" Something, I think I said, I kept saying there's nothing there, and it got us through because we were both laughing at our shared misery. It was fantastic. And you're right, Allison. Having that control to make it as the most pleasant experience it can possibly be for everybody. Because obviously you're going to have, with until Asobo and Microsoft come up with something that you can do in game to block people that are misbehaving or what have you. This is a perfect option to have a more controlled, friendly environment for what a group of people want to do. So doing Mars or Moon surface flight like that would be awesome. Maybe. We'll see what gets developed. Honestly, I can watch people work, but I don't like to. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that. Well, in understanding understanding airplanes and how it works. Whereas when you're a ladder, and it's a little different experience. Look, Mom, there's nothing there. Yeah, that's what I was saying. And we just spent so much time laughing that we kind of got through the mountains, and the anxiety was fairly non-existent just because we were laughing so much. Goes to show you how much I pay attention, doesn't it, Allison? Like, as long as I know I can have sure footing, I'm not too bad. Like if I'm going up on a roof, I won't go near the edge. We got a JoinFS friend in a TBM coming up. But yeah, me, heights. And it's not necessarily the height. It's knowing that there's a sudden stop and that it's not going to feel nice. And not sure that you're going to land in the softest of ways. Because that being said, in the wintertime when we used to get 2 or 3 or 4 foot of snow at my grandparents' old house, had a retaining wall that was 5, 6, 8 feet tall and above the snow. My sister and I would jump off it all the time, and it was a blast. But it was having that cushion there, knowing that, okay, it's going to be fine. I feel you there, Draco. I've got the attention span of a gerbil sometimes. The memory of a goldfish. It's not the most mountainous, but it certainly is pretty. Although we're starting to get some hills and mountains. I hear you, Draco. It's it's one of those. It hurts on the way out, but it's hard not to be like it was worth it. Even in the tough times that we're having, across the board. It's finding those joys, and some sacrifices have been absolutely worth it, because I don't know that I would have found Two-Tone Murphy and been a part of the community that has grown so fast had we not been in the global situation that shall currently be remain nameless. If that hadn't been the thing, I don't know as we'd be where we are today. And so, despite everything that's going on in the world, there's definitely positives to hold on to, and this community is just one of them, because it's fantastic. We're finding new things, we're making new friends from across the planet, and it's fantastic. I have nothing but positive feelings about that. It's all about finding those silver linings. Oh, and you picked up the Seminole. Awesome. Seminole's pretty good. Next is the Waco and probably the Mooney. Mooney's great. Waco's fantastic. The 182's nice. I can't wait for the F-15. I think it was, who was it? Irish Simulations just announced that they're doing an F-18C. DC Designs is doing an FA-18E, the Super Hornet, and that should be out, by their estimations, if everything goes well, February, March. More info is coming out from the Piper Arrow from Just Flight, so that's probably due out soon. They're making good, Aeroplane Heaven's making good progress on their Spitfire, which I cannot wait for that. India Fox Echo is making progress on their T-45, but I haven't seen any updates in a couple of weeks. That's going to be fun. Now, Milviz is working on a 310, but I haven't heard anything about it. I almost wanted to pick up the Beechcraft 99, but I'd like to see reviews from the update, because the initial release was kind of rocky, but they updated it. So I haven't heard anything else about it since. Sorry, gotta go. Well, glad you swung by, Ben. Glad you could at least be here for a little bit, and we'll see you next time. You take care. I hear you there, my friend. And that's not even getting into sceneries. Granted, just to a certain degree, I'm kind of weird when it comes to sceneries, because sceneries, if I'm going to pick up a scenery, it's got to be somewhere that I'm going to visit a lot. Unless it's freeware, then I tend to give it a little bit more leniency. But I still want to make sure that I go there from time to time. I've got some of the farm strips for the UK, because I've been doing a lot of flying in that area. Caseman Aerodrome, Shannon, to name a couple, because I've done a lot of flying in Ireland. Most anything Michigan, I'll probably end up picking up, just because Michigan, it's home. Let's see. But scenery, with as good as Flight Sim is just out of the box, it's almost a little harder to pick up payware scenery. Like, it's got to be Jepson quality, Jepson 2001 quality or better, and be somewhere I'm going to go frequently. Mustang, Cadillac, Sky. Can't wait for that, but I don't know as anybody has one currently in development. I bought my home airport in some fave places I've been to tend to fly to. Yeah, and I think I picked up Newcastle. I've picked up a lot of stuff in the UK and Ireland, because I've flown there a lot more than I ever have. I think I got a few German airports. I haven't picked up a lot, and mostly the ones that I'd like picking up are smaller airports too, because I try to avoid Class B Yeah, a Mustang would be fantastic. I know everybody wants the D model with the bubble canopy, but I really want somebody to develop a nice B or C model because that's my favorite. 100%, Darren. Salisbury, nice. Yeah, and that's another thing. If it's improving the city around it, as we're getting a bit more lumpy in scenery, so many trees. Bad dog. And we're not even towards the close to the Appalachians yet. There's Cat Bat. They're about halfway there. See how that'd be like to be able to pick starting airports for Sky Park, so I could pick my favorite to fly out of. Sky Park's not something I know a whole lot about. Whole lot about. It looks interesting. Figure payment senior, haven't got any paper yet, waiting for you to get up there. That's 100% fair, and that's one of the reasons why, I got the updated Dublin because it's Dublin, and obviously, Basement was a must-have, Shannon was a must-have, and that's one of the reasons I haven't quite done a mock loop stream yet. Because reasons for that are, I need to make a proper flight plan that's suitable for jets or faster aircraft, because you could put a King Air in there, C-17. Let's see. But I need to make a better flight plan. I need to. Kind of want to wait for the F-15 to come out, because then you can have F-15s and Typhoons and MB-339s and King Airs and stuff. Learjet or Citations. We need a Learjet. Doggone it. Learjets were a staple of flight sim. Let's see. Those are the major reasons. But mock loop will happen because that's going to be fun. That's normally the scenery. Yeah, and that's just it. With, who needs ortho? It looks fantastic with the Bing imagery. Granted, some better areas are better than others, but still, it looks amazing. Yeah, and that, like I said, that's the F-15 release is one of the things I'm waiting for to do a mock loop stream, because the F-15 is going to be epic, and doing that around the mock loop is, a must. And we're this close. It should be out this week if everything goes well. I think they're aiming for either tomorrow or Thursday. We'll see how it's going, but it looks like an amazing piece. Man, this is just so cool. And, having JoinFS. Because we've done the Star Wars Canyon. I'd like to do more carrier ops, but it'd be nice to have a more Navy-related aircraft to do it with. The MB-339 is fun to do on the carrier as well. A Mountain Alps with just awesome. Nice. Yeah, it It takes a lot of practice and a lot of failures. I've gone to land on it and forgot that I didn't have the didn't have the plug-in program running. I'm like, oh, this isn't gonna end well. I've gone to launch off the carrier and done the same thing and go off the engine like, what did I do wrong? Oh, that's right. Oops. But yeah, I mean, I did find a nice freeware RAF Lake and Heath scenery. I believe I posted it up in Murph's Discord. Looks nice, and they made it specifically for the F-15 release because that's one of the American F-15 bases in the UK. Oh, let's see. Yeah, so much fun stuff coming up on the horizon. It's crazy. I haven't heard anything about the Milviz 310 recently. The Piper Arrow is going to be nice. Interested to see what Carenado's bringing next now that the Waco's out. So a lot of fantastic stuff in the works. And they're, the big. Oh, that was another thing I was waiting for. Was the UK Ireland update that's coming out next week, next Tuesday, week from today. So it's entirely plausible that there will be a mock loop stream next week or the week after, depending on how the sim behaves. I'm also planning a big cross-country trip, specifically with the Waco, and that might be a Sunday stream series. It's going to be about 4 weeks long. So, kind of taking an inspiration from Murphy and doing a series. We're going to get in. Oh, we need to gas up when we get to Spartanburg. Now we're about 20 miles out. Now in JoinFS, I wonder, somebody at some point will probably have to develop some sort of generic airplane model pack thing for MSFS for things like JoinFS and what, so that pardon me, people will be able to match this, that, and the other thing. We did that one with Murph. We're planning on a return trip, but making it a series. Actually, I have the shirt for the Route 66 stream that Murph did. It was fantastic. It took like 13 hours, and there's only a handful of us that flew the whole way. I remember Allison went to bed, slept, woke up, and we were still flying. It was great. That was an epic trip. Oh, it was crazy. Oh, that was such a great one. Yeah, you did. You finished it out. But I may make my own Route 66 trip. It's a possibility for sure. Yeah, you were. My my aircraft control issues waited until the very last two legs, and I was that last stop, I was getting frustrated, very, very frustrated. And me and ailerons into the wind were both kind of in get home-itis mode. It's just like, let's just get this over with. Poor Murph was just ragged. You could tell he was tired. Yeah, well, and luckily for most of it, he had it. But as a streamer, you got to be there and do the entertainment stuff. But there are a few legs that we were flying aircraft that didn't have an autopilot. I think we did a leg in 152, a leg in the 339, a leg in the L19, and none of those have autopilot. So that was epic. Sure that the stream is on his YouTube channel. Pretty sure. So if you've got 13 hours to kill, watch an epic stream. 14 miles to go. So we hit Spartanburg. Just there's so many good, wonderful things to be excited about with flight sim. It's not even funny. It's fantastic. I could gush about it all day. Let's see, with your scenery, there's much better. Same flight material. Glad it's working out, Chamus. I figured it was easier to test this out, the JoinFS stuff on my stream. I know Murphy's been wanting to try it out for a while, but it's a little harder to tell the difference, I think, with a large 50 to 60 aircraft group flight than it is on this size, where there's still quite a lot of you and it's awesome. It's just, I think it's a little easier to see the difference and really get a better beat on it. For sure, I can't wait until Murph tries it out too. Checking out the good on Murph's Discord. Awesome. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun because, I mean, between Saturday and Sunday combined, I probably alone was on there flying, testing things out for at least 12 hours between the 2 days. Which is, we almost got Murph in trouble on Saturday night, Sunday morning, because it was probably getting to 11 o'clock midnight my time in the eastern U.S. and Murph's still on flying with us and doing ATC and stuff, and it's 5 a.m. for him. We're like, yeah, it's time to go to bed. Operation Ninja Crawl. But it was so much fun, testing stuff out and getting ATC working. It was just fantastic. I appreciate that, Seamus, because I remember that, because I landed, I changed airplanes, got into something else, requested startup, because that's what you do in Europe, and never got a squawk code. Got cleared to taxi, got cleared to take off. I'm sitting here going, okay, should be getting a squawk code. And now I'm squawking VFRs, so it's totally legal. fly out of the area up to from Shannon to Inishman at night in clouds, re-enter the airspace, announce my entering the airspace and intentions. Never got a squawk code. Come on, that's great. I was able to. Nice. Yeah, so it was fantastic, but I mean, everything worked. So really, the way it should be. But I can't fault Seamus at all because he was learning what he needed to do, and there's no shame in an oopsie of I didn't assign a specific squawk code because realistically, VFR you don't need one. It makes it easier to track when you're in controlled airspace, especially when there's a lot of people squawking VFR. But that's the point of squawking VFR. You're not necessarily needing, controller. So there's the airfield. We're going to kind of make a straight in. Going to fly out to the right a bit so we get a better approach. Yeah, I talk to myself when I'm flying, off stream too, so don't feel bad. You're not alone. So we're gonna go ahead and disable the autopilot. Next year is going to Rich. We're gonna go down to we'll start off at 2,000 RPM, trim up so that we reduce speed. 100% Seamus, 100%. And we're all kind of getting our heads around how it works. The only reason I have as much knowledge as I do is because I spent so many years flying with my grandpa and hearing what the ATC was telling him and his response. And when I was old enough and got to sit in the front seat, I was in charge of the transponder. And anytime there was a squawk code given, I was the one rotating the knobs, saying, okay, that's the squawk code, and this is what we need to be at. So there's the field. So we're going to reduce to 1,600 RPM. Get my acronyms all mixed up now. But yeah, no, JoinFS is fantastic. Because we're not just doing the radio calls. We're also we're helping each other understand something, or we're just having having the chat, which is nice to have every now and then in a relaxed environment that's not in a stream. It's a lot of fun in a lot of different ways. Okay, we're gonna skip. Ooh, saxophone. So we're a little high on the glide slope. We're going to reduce power a bit more. Still keeping up on the trim. We're in the white arc. One notch of flap coming down. Compensate with trim. One more notch because we're this close on final. Night all things. You have a good one, Noel. Thanks for flying along. Glad you had a good time, and we'll definitely see you on Discord and in the next stream. You have a fantastic. It is retired airline pilot for dinner. That's awesome. So go for the lighted runway, not the one baked into the scenery. Why there's a difference, I don't know. So last notch of flaps. We're on the glide slope. Last bit of power. Head in. Find the crosswind. There's 1,500 RPM. Start our rollout. Throttle goes to idle. Our flare down, keep the mains down. Nose slowly go down. Keep her towards the center line. Nose is down. Okay, we're under 40 knots. Flaps are coming up. The idle power settings. Take the next runway. Exit runway when able. Ooh, that's a sharp turn. Gonna just go off to the side here a little bit. And set the parking brake, get in the drone cam. As alley's down. And incoming is catbat. Look at the drop off there. Practically a VTOL landing from catbat. .62 per minute. There's Druid. Couple of almost go arounds. Kingsman's in. Red Dragon's in. We got a 172 in. There's Chippy. How you doing, Chippy? Good to see you. Here's Papa Joe B. Red Dragon's in. Catching up to Discord when the stream's done. Fantastic stuff going on. Really excited about this flight, JoinFS stuff. It's really exciting, and to see it working is just making it even more exciting. There's Kebmo, and there's Draco. There's Randy. There's a JoinFSer. There's another JoinFSer. Ooh. Stiff landing on the Waco. You'll be getting a call from maintenance. But other than that, straight. More or less. That thing is a handful. At least on takeoff and landing. And see, what it is a part of it, a big part of it is just the main gear are so close together, and that creates a less stable ground roll on takeoff and landing, as 6 knots is in, traveling at more than 6 knots. So with it, the F3F or F4F Wildcat and, well, the F3F biplane both had the same problem because the main gear was so close together. And Spitfire, same problem. Whereas like the Hurricane or the Mustang or something with a wheelbase longer, as there's a Bonanza in from a JoinFS friend, their main gears were further apart, and thus it made it a bit more stable, especially with an engine of higher horsepower, with torque and P factor going into it, it having the main gear further apart made it a bit more stable on the ground. obviously with Navy aircraft, the ability to fold the wings and whatnot created some challenges with that, but with the like Hellcat and the Corsair, a lot of that was resolved. Yeah, no, it takes a lot of practice. The tailwheel lock's a huge help. Let's see, is that everybody? Everybody. Nope. We got MJ Daiso and Tortuga inbound. And it didn't look like it, but we're on a bit of a hill. Look at that. Look at all those trees. There's mountains over in that direction. Like real mountain. So we'll wait for MJ, Daiso, and Tortuga. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of a difference between satellite imagery and airport data. What do you think? A little different. Are you under NFS? And I am, yes. Just so I can see everybody. Yes. The short answer is yes, I'm on both. Quirky Glum Tapestry, where are ye now? I'll join. We're at Kilo Sierra Papa Alpha on our way, and we will soon be departing to Kilo Tango Oscar Charlie. Yeah, it's just in order for me to see everybody, I have to be on both. If I wanted to, I could do one or the other, but we wanted to test out the dynamic of JoinFS, so I'm running both. There's Tortuga in the Waco. There's Bad Dog. Yeah, it makes sense to realize you can be on both beneath others. Yeah. As MJ Daiso is in. Now, the big thing is when you have somebody with, if you see somebody that's on both the server, the Microsoft server you're on, as well as JoinFS, you're going to see two planes. The general idea of JoinFS is you wouldn't have to be on either, or you'd be on one or the other, not both. For group flights, at least for testing purposes, it's makes sense to have both running. We're gonna go ahead and get back in the old cockpit. Going to fill up because we're a little low, but not terrible. Enough to get the light off. But yeah, if you're on both, or if two people are on both the same Microsoft server and JoinFS, you're both going to see dual aircraft, and that's just kind of what it does, because JoinFS injects aircraft into the sim. Yes, the second cousin of Wings McGinty. We're rolling on our way to depart Spartanburg, South Carolina, and head towards Camp Toccoa. Oh dear. Traffic. Traffic. See, there's dual planes. Kind of sad my water bottle is empty. Been talking a lot. We're doing a fast taxi. I left my strobe lights on. Oh well. Sue me. So, well, we're up a little bit. It looks like Allie's in a Irish Air Corps Reams, or the two-tone Murphy specifically scheme. Very nice. I approve. So, when you're ready, lads and lasses. Huh. Well, it's showing you the two-tone Murphy scheme. I approve regardless. So, slowly introduce power. I have the power. Compensate with rudder for the crosswind. There's 40 knots when airspeed's alive. 45, 50, 50 knots. 1 notch of flaps coming down. Didn't set my. How dare I? I was forgetting something. All that 300 feet, flaps coming up. Start our left-hand orbit. Whilst everyone gets off the ground. Yeah, this sim is so pretty. Who needs a ground roll anyway in this thing? Another left orbit. Orbit. How it feels to chew 5 go. Some friends of mine made a parody video of the 5 gum, or the how it feels to chew 5 gum commercials, and just thinking about it makes me laugh. One of these days I'll have to post it. It's completely random, and if random sense of humor is your type of sense of humor, it's funny. Then again, I'm about 15 degrees off normal. What server? We're on East US, and we're also on JoinFS. So whichever floats your boat or lifts your airplane. Is A-OK. So everybody's off. We're going to have to descend again. So autopilot coming on. Vertical speed 500 foot a minute. Nav mode. We're going to go to cruise power. That's still not working. It's really weird. Period. That's why I have a point. Or through. So now we're making our way to Camp Toccoa, the former home of the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, who was then attached to the 101st Airborne Division during World War II, made notable to the general populace through the HBO miniseries Band of Brothers. If you haven't seen it, it's fantastic, and you should. Three miles up, 3 miles down. Thus ends the capacity of my water bottle. She's still a bit breezy, even though we're on scattered clouds. Let's see, Band of Brothers. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. I have it on Blu-ray, and I watch it somewhat regularly, because I also do, in a normal year, I do World War II reenactments, or I participate in World War II reenactment events, and I portray both a member of 5th Rangers, U.S. Army, and also Dog Company 506, 101st Airborne. So I have 2 World War II impressions that I do, and it's great fun. I've participated in the United States' largest reenactment of D-Day, which happens on the shores of Lake Erie, and it's a ton of fun in a little place called Conneaut, Ohio. Well, if you Google search D-Day Ohio, you'll get plenty of video and information. Nice. Yeah, that's definitely a must-have. And I'm telling you, the M1 Grand is the special piece. Heavy. Not light. So we're definitely getting into, well, there's some mountains up there, and it's getting hilly over here. So we're definitely going to be having more hills here in our future. Hills and mountains and lakes. Yep. Michigan has all three of those. Did I ever get to have to go to... Did ever have a... Goblet is in the Seminole. Nice. It's the stranded British. Aha! I gotcha. I've never gotten hands on one. Most of my rifle experience was with, in the Army, with the M16A2. Did a little training on the 249 Bravo. Beyond that, I've done some sport shooting of my own at ranges and such, with privately owned things. Kevin is here. What's the connection with Band of Brothers here, currently watching the series for the first time? We're flying to Camp Toccoa, which you'll see in episode 1, and we'll circle around Mount Currahee. So the closest airport to Toccoa is Kilo Tango Oscar Charlie. And that's where our final destination is. It's not but a few miles from Currahee. Server oops, a load just finished, still see Colonel and Cap at. Nice. M16A2 was good. It was on the verge of being outdated when I was in. Nowadays, everything's an M4. All kinds of fancy schmancy stuff on it. This isn't spaghetti, it's army noodles with ketchup. Captain Sobel. Did not like Captain Sobel. Portrayed by David Schwimmer. I wonder if I still have my connection to JoinFS. Yeah, I certainly do. Let's check the session, see who's here. So we still have Seamus is connected, Big Ears, myself, Kebmo, and Red Dragon, and Murphy are all connected. USAPR1 is connected. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely awesome. So Big Ears is over in Europe. This is awesome. Testing out JoinFS was a great idea. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but every now and then I have a thought and it works. When it does, it's fantastic. I was going to use some of my ELA lesson. Nice. What's ELA? I'm going to call it a night. Have a great rest of the stream. You take care, Seamus. Thanks for helping test out with Prepared. Glad to have you along, and have a good evening. Just caught zoning out as I... Yeah, I've done that a few times. I've done that on stream where I'll just be looking at us like, man, that's pretty. Wait, I'm streaming. I should be talking about something. Hey, would you look at the state of that? English language arts. Gotcha. I remember language arts. Long ago and far away. And some say I still don't use English good. Aha! Ooh, Earth and space science. I'm on board for that. We're not going to look at the land Gigna. Favorite subjects in school were science and history. Hated math, hated language arts, hated English. But man, I loved history class. Certain sciences were fun. We'll just turn the camera that way because of the land spire. You know, I mean, I could see a lot of potential for using flight sim as just a learning aid. Like you were saying, for perception versus reality. It's like, what's even greater? There's a picture of John E. Or is it Jan Morecamp? I think it's Jan Morecamp on the Murphy Discord, where he took a screenshot of the Mooney and then photoshopped himself into it wearing the Route 66 shirt, and it took a couple of looks and be like, wait a minute, that's photoshopped. It was believable. Very believable. Greenville, really green. It's funny. I like history and I like science mostly for space. I should have been an astronaut, but I should have studied better in school. I was not the greatest of students in school. I did not want to be there. I was not a good student at all. Oh dear. This fantastic scenery. Look at most of that. That might be the airport that we've taken out of to go to Heaven's Landing. Spartanburg. Yeah, Greenville. Yeah, we're in Greenville. It is green. Fair day. Greenville, Spartanburg International. Because, yeah, we would fly out of there and go up to Heaven's Landing. And then fly through the mountains of the Appalachian. Geography was nice, too. Some place was flight sim set up in the... Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. I've done that, too, with Japan. When the Japan update came out, and I'm posting all kinds of stuff because it just looked amazing. They're like, you went to Japan? And I'm like, yes, totally. Oh, I snuck my way out and managed to get halfway across the planet. I'm trained as an astronomer. Nice. Yeah, space is awesome. Yeah, it was. Had a lot of a lot of CTDs on Murph's stream, the Heaven's Landing, because I was using the 182, and at the time it had a lot of issues, but it's all better now. Man, it's so pretty. See, my one gripe about the photogrammetry is I think it should just use buildings and it should generate the buildings, but not the trees and the foliage, because you can tell the difference between the autogen trees and photogrammetry trees, and it's a big tell. For those in the Waco, Vortec 0DF is 6 nautical miles north of KTOC, frequency 113.4. Cool. I can use that too. 113.1. Oh. 11. Bird. Yes, Japanese friend having to see into the Fuji building outside. And the Van Hands looks real. Yeah. Just finished teaching my astronomy unit to end first semester. Can't say ahead. Can't say ahead. Happy. I really should have studied better in school. Hated homework. Always hated homework. I would have gotten a lot better grades if I had done my homework. Did well on tests, though, all things considered. Oh, adolescents. And most of us adults. I amuse easy. I'm a simple person, and it doesn't take a whole lot to make me giggle. That's fair. You know, my coastie buddy Azimuth, he wants to become a teacher, wants to teach history. Man, I haven't seen him in over a year, and he only lives in Toledo. Things got to open up enough to where I can go visit my friends. Yeah, exactly. Oh, 9th grade. What a year that was. But we'll look towards the mountains, because mountains are cool. Well, seems like, yeah. It really does. For me, oh, it wasn't that. Well, I mean, it was a while ago, but it doesn't seem as far away as it was. Or is. Gosh. I can only imagine what my dad feels. '96. Add 8 to that, and that was me. Don't worry about it, Allison. It was my dad left school before you did, well before you did. Yeah, I graduated in '88. Started teaching about 6 years. Change. Nice. Well, once the world kind of opens back up a bit, we'll have to organize some sort of U.S. gathering or something, or when I'm going to Detroit, I'll have to mention it. Man. Just look at the green. So green. The lights. lighting, they just nailed it. They really did with the clouds, and so good. How you doing, Hammy? Good to see you. Saw you get credited in the Pilot Peely video advertisement promo thingamabob for the Simwings event. Which, if you haven't heard of Simwings, it's a fantastic organization that does charity streams and group flights. It is a charitable organization that helps provide those who are, under normal circumstances, unable to get hold of computers or flight sim equipment and such, and provide them access to such said equipment. And they were able to provide 2 systems to people last year, and they're looking to double it this year. I'm planning on participating in their February 13th group flight stream down in Chile in the Cap 10. Let's go the end of your big... Goodness, nice. Yeah, let's see. I'm currently flying the Bonanza around the Pacific. Yeah, and I'm sure they'll get to it. I'm not sure what their plans are after UK and Ireland. I'm going to be optimistic about Ireland, because if ever there was a time that they could do really well by the world, and especially for Ireland, now's the time. Australia could use some loving. Canada could really use some loving. Mainland Europe could use some loving, especially the Nordic countries. Scandinavia. But having a sim where you can fly with friends seamlessly, and what the website? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to. Should nothing else more drastic come up, I'm going to be participating in that group flight, and I'm excited for that. Brazenhead just re-upped the sub with Prime for 4 months in a row. Been really neat to watch your channel grow, sir. Well, you've been a big part of it, and your help has been fantastic, and good to see you. Hope you're well, Brazenhead. So, when are they planning on releasing the UK Ireland? I believe it's next Tuesday, so from a week from today. I know it's the end of January for sure, but I'm reasonably sure that they're aiming for next week. They're looking at moving it up from what I heard from Murph on his stream yesterday, but they kept to next week. And that's one of the reasons why, between that being so close, the F-15's almost out, should be out tomorrow or Thursday-ish on Just Flight, if all goes well. And between that and the UK Ireland update, that's one of the big reasons why I haven't had a mock loop stream yet. But with those coming out here soon, I'll get working on a proper flight plan for it. For sure. Kevin. Yeah, I know they're going to add at least a couple POIs, points of interest for Ireland. I'm looking forward to see what they do graphically. Typically, I'm working 6 late shifts in a row, so I won't get to do much simming from next week. Oof. Oh, we'll try to find something that works out, Hammy, so you can do the mock loop with us. Oh, for sure. And especially with as much as I've been flying in that region since this came out, it's going to be really nice to explore this for somebody that's never seen it from the ground in person. And so it's going to be really interesting. They did. I can't say as I noticed a whole lot of difference when they did the USA update in Michigan, other than they added the Mackinac Bridge. So when you get into northern Michigan, the satellite imagery is kind of hit and miss, but that's more of a problem with Bing than anything. But if I remember correctly, Murph said something about a Bing update coming soon as well on one of his streams, but I don't recall. Yes. Straightforward download. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Once that's out, that's going to be like, there's no going to be waiting on the F-15. Let's see. Let me feel that I can sometimes take the evening off. I have lots of OT. I can cover the hours and convert 2 hours off. Gotcha, Hammy. I will be sure to let you know. I got to work on the flight plan first. We'll get to it. Not for us to fix the change heading bug via Q. Huh. Call the ball. I wish they'd make the heading bug so it didn't go in 10, so I could go to individual degrees again instead of just 10 degree increment. It makes it really hard to tune the VORs. And if things work out well, once the F-15 comes out and have fun with that, I might have some other fun surprises on the way. Interesting. How you doing, Bravo Hotel Bravo? Hope you're well. That's fair. I've really only tested it in the Cessna steam gauge, so it might be different in other ones, but on the steam gauge one, it's only in 10-degree increments, and it's really frustrating because this is the one I fly the most. I think it's the same in the 152. Oh, we'll give it a shot. What happened? Look at it. Yeah. Won't let me do whether I click it or $10 degrees. Oh well. I mean, it's not huge, but it is a little annoying. Down leg back. Interesting. That's what's causing the issues if you hold the keys down. The heading bug scales from. Ah. Maneuver bug cloud, it's out of playbook, come on. Weird. That's really weird. I wonder if there's been any driver updates. There shouldn't be for the Honeycomb. With Flight Sim, it should be just plug and play and done and gone. I know there is an update in December for Logitech panels. Not that I'm using one, because the only Logitech panel I have was the one with the lights, the gear, starter, and some other ancillary controls. That's the only panel. I want to get the radio panel. Something fierce. But if it breaks the keyboard, I really don't want to break my keyboard. I don't want to break something. I can deal with it. It's just annoying. Chippy Arnold's off ahead, as is Bad Dog. Lovely area. Keen, the update should be next week. And that could work too. That too could work. So we just passed Oconee Regional, or Oconee County Regional, Kilo Charlie Echo uniform. So we are almost there, sports fans. So we're going to overfly the airport, fly a little to the southwest, look for Mount Currahee, fly around Mount Currahee. It's not like a peaked mountain. It's kind of a roundy mountain. Oh, absolutely, Goblin. Druid. There's going to be a lot of flying over in that area. It'll be quite heavily populated. Which is a good thing, you know. Let's let people get out and explore and either see a country they've never been to or see their own country from a new perspective. I mean, that's fantastic. My only hope is it doesn't break Caseman Aerodrome and Jepson scenery, because I would have to fight somebody if it broke that scenery. You know, and this, just being able to explore in general has been just fantastic, because, you know, I did one flight in FSX in Ireland, I don't know, probably a month or so ago now, after just doing nothing but flying this, and I just was like, it looked like a desert, and I was just like, what's going on here? Not to mention, it was terribly difficult to set up the honeycomb for FSX. It was awful. Yeah, there is, Murph. It's fantastic. Between the East US server and JoinFS, it's just been huge. It's been a great night. I haven't flown over Stonehenge, Avebury, or Silbury Hill yet. I only know what one of those things are. Or is. How does words good? Yeah, no, it's... And to see JoinFS work so well in conjunction with the Microsoft servers is great. I'm exploring the UK is going to be fantastic. Doing more exploring of Ireland is going to be amazing. And what better plane to have than the Waco right before that update? I mean, they couldn't have planned that any better. Aha! Y'all got some deep history over there, and that excites me because I like history. That'd be a fun. I think between England and Ireland and Scotland and Wales, I've really not done much exploring in Scotland, so I definitely need to do some more Scotland exploring. So I've done some flying in England. I've done quite a bit in Ireland. A little bit in Wales, mostly mock loop stuff. Went to Edinburgh and Glasgow a couple of times, or once. But yeah, I need to get some Scotland time in. I definitely want to jump on JoinFS. It's been a while on X-Plane since I used it. You take it easy, Bombasso. You take care, and we will catch you on Discord and in the stream. So we're 8.5 miles out. Once we get close to the airport, we'll definitely be jumping off the autopilot, exploring around, because Mount Currahee is its peak is only 1,364 feet. It's not tall by comparison of mountains. It's more of the historical significance it brings of being connected to the 506 and war. See all those woods, all the camping you could do, the hiking you could do. If you're into hunting, you could probably do that. Fishing. All sorts of stuff. Flight Sim is definitely a gem in a lot of ways. Who that is? My money's on Hammy. Can't see a tag. I'm thinking it's got to be a JoinFS. Not Hammy. No Hammy, no whammy. Curious this is. Aha! Ah, there's the name tag. It's just too close. We almost made it, folks. We almost made it. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, we're working on it. It had to. It just figures. I gotta do this nonsense. Load the sim. We were almost there. There we go. Somewhere. We're in the worst part of the whole thing in rebooting Flight Sim. That takes, ages. So close. Oh dear. We're saying too many nice things about Flight Sim. What happened? Oh dear. No kidding. You have a good one, 6 knots. Sorry for the anticlimactic. Almost end of the stream. Okay. This. 11 o'clock. Fly. Much appreciated, Alan. Allison. Words. Frustrated. Brain. Brain block. Time block. Oh. Ah! Oh dear. It was going too well. Yeah. Oh dear. Got that whole why am I at 8,000 feet? You knob end. I despise that greatly. Very much despise that whole system. So we're just gonna cheat. Meat Marble is now following. Many thanks, my friend. Really do appreciate it. So there's Fergo flying around the mountain, but it's over yonder, southwest of the airport. Why did it not load the weather? There we go. So I'm going to land on this cross runway. Boy, that's frustrating. As I can see, everybody landing, or that has landed. Any ideas? Well, I don't honestly know. I was checking things out in JoinFS, and the next thing I know, it freaks out. It's really hard to say. I actually did not get an AMD error this time around, so it's very interesting. Great flight, minus system. You have a good one, Draco. Good talking. Glad you're here, and we will catch you on Discord and in Merch stream tomorrow. Absolutely. I'm at least gonna get I'm gonna land, darn it. I'm gonna get to land at the final airport, doggone it. I will not be denied. That's full flaps. Actually, that's Mount Currahee right there, I think. I'll have to check it out off stream, since stream's pretty well donezo. Once I get down and get parked and give my proper outro. All right, we want this flaps up. Glad you enjoyed it, Kingsman. It was good having you in the chat. I'm glad that all of you came and joined in with the experiment that was JoinFS. And just flying along and being in the chat means the world to me. I'll get parked up next to everybody. Team Lafford is off. Good to have you in the chat, my friend. You stay well, and we'll catch you next time. You cheeky sim. Come. Absolutely. Glad you all had fun. Thank you all for joining me. Gonna get parked up here real quick. Oh, look, a nice little gap for me. Could you not? Parking brake set. Avionics off, lights off, mixture cut off. We're gonna hit continue. Can you please? So, to everyone that was in the chat, to the resubscribes, to those who flew, those who helped test with JoinFS, I do thank you all for coming along. It was a ton of fun, even with the technical issues that decided to develop right at the end. It was definitely a lot of fun. This is the kind of flying that's why we're looking to JoinFS. So, to everyone, thanks for coming along. And until next time, be good to each other, stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.